What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Yo,
Obisa Prav here.
Justin Martin.
We're just chilling in Massachusetts in a hotel room right now. And we got a special episode.
Yeah.
Tonight, we got 7QRTRS with us, a dope producer, MC. We're going to get into some dope conversation with him. But yeah, as always, we're going to start with the sponsors. And the Prophecy Podcast is brought to you each and every single week by npcstuff.com. Hundreds of replacement upgrade products for Akai and Native Instruments machine as well. Hit them up if you're looking for anything for those products. I stand behind everything they do. Their products are great. Customer service is awesome. Also sponsored by I Regret Nothing Apparel. Some of the most relevant social messages on their clothing, some great designs, high quality materials. We're proud to have them as a sponsor. We stand behind them 100%. We absolutely love that they're a Black Maine owned small business. It doesn't really get any better than that. Tonight's smoke break segment, as always, brought to you by Fire on 4, which is located down 367 4th Street in the heart of Portland, Maine's Old Port District. Ultra fine cannabis products and a super friendly, knowledgeable staff provide you with all of your medical cannabis needs. Also, be sure to check out Elevate Audio and Visual. We can get you music videos done, photography, music promo. If you need distribution too, we help with that. Graphic design, websites, basically anything you need. Check out elevateaudioandvisual.com for more information on that. Can't forget what's happening in Boston. They keep you up to date with all the events in New England and Boston area, concerts, stuff to do with the family, whatever else. You can check them out on Instagram, on Facebook. And last but not least, Prophecy Podcast is brought to you each and every single week by Barsoverbars Media. We can't thank them enough for hosting us as we expand and the content, continue to build the brand. I'm out here in Massachusetts because we're just covering some live shows that Barsoverbars was doing over at the Jungle in Somerville on Friday and in New Bedford at the communal space with some great artists that we had out there. And I was doing the video for their, well, I mean, there's usually multiple videographers. Artists got their own thing, but for Barsoverbars, I was capturing video for them, kind of going to put together a little reel from this week's shows. There's a couple more coming up at the end of the week. So I'm down here doing that and music videos and shit. So it's kind of like a monthly thing that I come down and do. And so, yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to Hero for putting everything on and, throwing shows free for the artists.
Yeah.
No pay to play shit. Always free for the artists. It will always be free for the artists. And, without further ado, let's bring in tonight's guest, 7QRTRS.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
What's up, homie? How's it going?
You know what? Not too bad. It's been like an insane kind of day. Well, actually, insane kind of 2 days. But I'm chilling. I'm hanging out in a shed right now. Like, let's go.
Yeah, man, you got the setup going on.
Yeah, I wish I had like some speakers or something out here, but like it's pretty much bare. Like you can see the insulation behind me if you really like zoom in.
Yeah, no, but hey, man, it's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
they have some type of backdrop.
Yeah,
I don't want to
exactly.
look like Place to 5'9", like spinning around in circles. You know what I mean?
Yeah, making motherfuckers dizzy.
Yeah, nobody wants to.
So usually we start the podcast off just like a quick bio of yourself. Let people know like your hometown, self story, how you got your name, how long you've been making music. So just let the people know.
So I am 7QRTRS. Real name, government name, Phelan Ritchie. My name comes from like a couple of different places. I basically 7QRTRS is like a sacred geometry, seed of life type of shape going on. It's like 7 circles in the same diameter.
Yeah.
But the name Seven's been around a long time for me because back when I was younger, I looked like the guitar player from Slipknot. and they all have numbers, and I looked like
Right.
number 7.
Yeah.
So it started with number 7, and then I kind of flipped it into my own thing. But I'm an MC. I like write my own rhymes. I can freestyle, like sorta. I make my own beats. I do my own artwork a lot of the times.
Yep.
You know, doing it all sorta ish.
Nice, man. So, where are you from originally? Like, I mean,
Oh,
where do you hail from?
so I lived in Manchester, New Hampshire, like pretty much my entire life. And then over the past like 4 years, I kind of bounced back and forth between Maine and New Hampshire. And now, well, then I went to Kentucky just like a couple weeks ago, but I'm actually in Tennessee right now.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Traveling.
Yeah. trying to make that the reality, but I'm from New Hampshire originally.
Yeah. All right, cool. So that's your connection with MoFlow. Go back pretty long. Like, did you guys meet through? How did you guys meet up?
Actually, me and Mo have been we've known each other for like 2 years, pretty much. Like pretty much. When I turned 21. I'm almost 27. When I turned 21, I went to Rap Night. I played my first show there, and I completely bombed. Like, it was awful. I totally screwed everything up. So I didn't go back for like 5 years or something like that, 4 or 5 years. And when I went back, I met Mo kind of in the cypher because I like to get into the cypher, and you know, we just kind of clicked. But he's actually like a new friend. We just kind of work off of the same energy, sort of.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems that way. Seems like you may have known him even longer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're like kindred spirits, kind of. Or like we became like brothers quickly. You know what I mean? Like we try to help each other out, and that's always good. Sometimes, you know, one of my monikers is the ghost most unsociable, and it's like sometimes I forget to like uphold like my end of friendships. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm like, yo, I haven't talked to you in 2 months. Like, here's some beats to check out, or like something like that. I'm learning, like, you know, that's not how you have a good friendship with people. But that aside, Mo's my dude. The Rap Night cats are all my dudes. Monday of the Minds peeps, those are all my dudes. Like, New England is like my home. Anthill Collective dudes out in Vermont, those are all my guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's up, though. Yeah, you know, I feel like, you know, having friends, they should know how you are. You know what I mean? So if they don't accept you for you, then fuck them. You know what I mean? So, like, if you don't talk to them but once every 2 months and that's you, like, that's how it shouldn't be no issue. You know what I mean? Like, oh, shit, nice. Like, just take the beats and say, yeah, that's dope. Thanks, bro. Like, whatever. Like, don't be like, you know, it shouldn't be no issue. Like, they're your friend.
And it never is, dude, which is good. Like, because he's kind of the same way. Like, I'll message him randomly because I think about it, and like I won't hear back for 3 days, and I'm just like, that's the way it is. My best friend of all time, I was his best man at his wedding. Before his wedding, I hadn't seen him in like 2 to 3 years, and then he's hiking the Appalachian Trail, and I rode through where he was in New York, and I saw him, but it has been like a year and a half since his wedding, and we haven't talked like at all. But I'll drive to New York to like see that dude. Like, that's the type of person I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I was the best man at this guy's wedding, and I think before the bachelor party, we hadn't seen each other in a few months. It's been a while, yeah. So like, yeah, we same idea, but now that I'm kind of like coming to Mass a lot, we see each other more often, which is cool. But before, I mean, me living in northern Maine and even in southern Maine, it's still hard to get down here. But now that I have all this free time, because this is basically my job now, I'm able to come down and more often, which is cool, bro. But yeah, it should go either way. You could go like years without talking and still should be able to fucking be like, what's up? Let's fucking get together, you know? That's just what true friendship, you know, should be. But yeah, so is there strange news? Did you find any this week?
Yeah, I got a couple things.
Yeah.
All right. So first one is kind of fucked up. I printed it out. I'm old school.
Oh
so
yeah,
I printed it
I
out.
see that. I saw that.
There was a gun recently released by a United States gun company, and they're facing a lot of backlash because of this pistol. And it looks like a child's toy made out of Legos, like legit. I have a picture of it. I'll hold it up because it's exactly what you think it is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's the gun they produced. It's called the Block 19.
The Block 19.
It is a Glock.
Block 19?
And it was developed to, quote unquote, highlight the pure enjoyment of the shooting sports.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and of course, Lego has written to the company demanding that it stop producing this weapon, which is because it looks like it's covered in their Lego bricks.
Right.
Gun control campaigners describe the pistol as irresponsible and dangerous, which I can totally agree with.
Right.
For sure.
Because, the whole situation in our country with gun violence is ridiculous. But if you're going to be designing guns like this, who do you think is going to be drawn to those guns? Children, obviously.
Yes, it's like a joke, too. You know what I mean? Like really just normalizing the idea that like weapons are like no thing, like they're literal toys.
Yeah, making the kids want to like see that and be like, I want that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. So listen to this. This company called Culper Precision said in a statement that it chose to release this Block 19 in an attempt to show that guns were for everyone, quote unquote, and that owning and shooting firearms responsibly is a real enjoyable activity. And it added that the firearm could be purchased only by those legally permitted to own a gun, obviously.
Right.
But Culper Precision is the company, Block 19 is the gun, and it looks like a motherfucking kid's toy.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So they're facing a lot of flack and
I have a
bad
question
press
about that. Do you think that you can add your own pieces to it?
I mean, the way
it looks like it's built on.
It looks like you can add pieces onto it because it's got the Lego brick like
sight
parts of it.
Yeah, it's got a sight. Hold it up again. The top part of the gun, it's got a sight on it. See that?
Dude,
right here?
They
And
all
it's-
look
it
like
looks
Lego
like
pieces
it could
and they
come
look
off.
interchangeable.
Yeah, it looks like it could
How
come off.
long before you think that they just start selling like the build your own Lego gun set?
Well, they kind of do with 3D printers now. You can get a
Yeah.
plan to print a fucking gun right from your 3D printer. I've seen it. I watched YouTube videos on that shit. And then the parts that you can't print, you can just buy like the little metal pieces that you need for nuts and
The
bolts,
internal
whatever.
parts, yeah.
And you buy that and you print the rest of that shit off. And yeah, it's wild, bro.
Yeah.
Even without any metal parts, they still can make a gun with that 3D printer. Just all plastic that fires even plastic bullets you can
Yep.
print.
And metal detectors don't pick that shit up.
Exactly. So things have gotten crazy with the gun world in recent years. With that and the amount of shootings in the United States that we have that don't even get reported on. Just if you look at the
it's like a
sheer
daily
numbers,
fucking thing.
Yeah, you look at
Nobody
the sheer
bats an
numbers.
eye about it.
Nobody cares about the guns at all, really. But in other countries, I know some are extreme, some are whatever. But in Australia, they had a mass shooting in the late 90s or early 2000s. They banned the guns.
Mm-hmm.
No more mass shootings. Yeah, they've had some crazy people come out swinging knives and hurt people, but I'm sure it was a lot less people than if they would have had a gun, And Japan has a weird rule where you can own a shotgun, a specific shotgun, a specific like single bolt action rifle, and a handgun. A handgun. Is there a handgun? I don't know. Either way, I think you can own a shotgun and rifle for hunting purposes, and they have to be recertified. They have to have mental check. They have to be recertified every year. They have to apply, and not everybody gets approved. And because they have a big problem with suicide in Japan as well, because people just work so much and stuff, so they have to go through this huge mental thing. And what I don't understand is why, if other countries can do something more about it, why we don't. And it's because the pockets of the people making the policies are being lined by
NRA.
The NRA. Well, the NRA is kind of no more, but still gun advocates will say.
Yep.
I don't know who in specific, but which is horrible. So lobbyists basically run this country, lobbyists and corporate interests, which I don't know why. a lot more people don't catch on to that concept. I think some people are like, they just get into that mindset where they're working, they have bills they have to maintain, and they just bury their head in the sand kind of deal and just move forward, like, with their head in the sand, not really ever seeing shit except for what's in their little bubble and what they do. And they kind of compartmentalize fucking life, and they say, well, this is my life and that's their life, and that doesn't have anything to do with me, and I am doing this. I'm the type that I'd rather fucking live under a tree than work for somebody else and make them money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, like, especially like big corporations, like local mom and pop places, I've worked for some, and I don't mind that quite as much. But after a time goes by where you feel, at least me, I feel being used, and if things arise with scheduling and they're not reasonable, like any little reason can make me split. Like, I'll be like, look, a schedule's coming out on Saturday for what we're going to work Monday. That doesn't work for me. I have kids. I have appointments I have to do. And if nothing changes, I just leave. I have no issue with that. Like I said, I'd rather be like under a fucking tree happy than working somewhere not happy. Like, because the happiness in my life, I feel like, damn, 37 years old, I should be able to kind of do what I want. And it's fucked up that we're forced to work as much as we are as a human race. And basically, you should have to work. Yes, I'm not saying you should never have to do works of some sort. Like sit around and stare at a wall. I'm not saying that, but I feel like we should work towards the betterment of not only us as people, but if people could work less, I feel like there'd be more time for them to do not only like things they want to do, but maybe help figure out the problems that we have, put their minds together and have more free time rather than just work and want to come home, eat, fucking go to sleep.
Right.
They take your free mind away when they do that kind of. So I just feel like,
especially like you were saying with mom and pop places, like I feel like it always starts really, really good where you're like, like I feel so connected with these people, and they're like, I'm a workaholic, right? I haven't worked since I've been down here, and it's been like I'm going a little crazy because that's just what I'm used to. Yeah. But I always that being used and being like societally forced into like having to work a bunch to get money. Lately, I'm trying to like the past since COVID hit, like trying to finesse the music thing more to like supplement my income, and it's like some months it goes really good, and some months it's like, damn, I haven't done shit. So it's like I don't know what's better, like having that like blanket where I'm like I know for sure that I'm gonna be good and I'm gonna be able to get this and that, or like committing all my time to doing like this work and like hoping that it pans out. So it's like it's always a huge dilemma, you know what I mean? But I feel like that's just because we're like trained into that, you know what I mean? Like into a culture that's designed for work.
Right. Yeah, it's all about capitalism, really, when it boils down to it. If we didn't have capitalism and we rethought the whole system, which probably will never happen, or maybe it will I don't know. I'm just feeling if we redesign the whole fucking system to work for us instead of for the corporate interests, everything would change. If we didn't have the billionaire fucking space race that's going on right now, and if each one of those billionaires just put some of their billions aside, like we could end hunger for children, we could end homelessness in a short amount of time. And Elon Musk making like fucking $16 million a day or whatever the fuck he makes, right? Bezos making like $8-9 million a day, whatever that is. I mean, you take that shit and the money is just like, where are they going? And tax is one thing, but as a human being, like if I know that if I was as rich as those people, like more than half my money would be going back to people.
Right.
Now, I would probably do it recklessly. I'd be giving people cash. I'd be doing the things you shouldn't do. Right. What I'm saying is if they all pooled in their money, you get Warren Buffett, you get fucking Bezos, you get Bill Gates, you get fucking Elon Musk, just here in America, just some of the richest people here. And you say, look, we figured it out mathematically. We got this much money together, right? If you guys contribute, then that's how you get your fucking tax breaks, right? Contribute this much. From here on out, we'll consider not bringing the tax up to like 50%. We'll put it at like 35, right? That saves you money, right? So like contribute though. Like you can't look around and say, look, shit's burning out west. There's going to be they're going to go through a drought. They're going to run out of water out west, and it's going to displace millions of people. Where are they going to go? Then the sea levels are going to rise. That's going to displace millions more people along the coast all over the place. Where are they going to go? So housing should be a fundamental right. Like, we shouldn't have to worry about day to day where you're going to live. You should just have a place to live. You know what I mean? Why are you worrying about that when if we took these worries and stresses away, like I said, people could focus their energy and their time on trying to solve what's happening with climate change and with the pollution and everything else that's happening. Famine, even like running out of food, running out of water. That's happening already. Yep. It's going to continue to happen. So what I don't get is why these people are so short-minded. These politicians, people making hits, they just care about putting money in their pocket now. They're going to be dead in 20 or 30 years. Who gives a shit? That's what they're
not their problem.
So we need more younger people in fucking Congress, right? We need more younger people to run for shit and get in there with their views and thoughts on how their next 50 to 60, 70 years is going to look, because I think a lot of people are looking, especially younger people, like my kids are very in tune with it. They know what's happening. Do they know what to do yet? No, but could they get there? Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's them we're really concerned about, because like in 40, 50 years, they're going to be the ones that have to continue on with this fucking shit, because it'll be much more messed up by then, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's just like an ongoing fucking everyday battle that people just kind of push to the side and be like, oh, I'm just living my life, and think everything's peachy. Well, it's really not. We act that way, and we get through life, but it is what it is. And things need to change, but you can only do so much,
Yeah, honestly, especially like you as one person or as like whatever, you know what I mean? Not connected to a community, there really is only one thing. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do at all.
No.
But with 1 million people, dude, if we could get everybody together, we get this little, we all get sheds like this one that I'm in right now, and we plant a garden that we just eat out of, you know what I mean? On some cult stuff, but not cults, because I don't agree with cults, but I agree with like what they do out of like community gardening and like that's
that's a definite thing that should be going on, and is in certain places when you look around. However, it should be doing more widespread and more of that community planting, community gardens, just people giving in general. If you have it to give, like let's give it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. And it just more of that would help. But really, it's a huge fundamental issue that should be taken care of through like legislation and like, changes in the Constitution or changes in at least some shit. I feel like drugs is a fucking another huge problem. Private prisons, another big one that, it's all about money. I think that's the root of it. So like if you take away these people's, these really hard capitalists, they're just people like we were talking about, mom and pop places. Cool. They're out here trying to feed their family and shit. But when you get into like the Walmarts and shit, they done fed their families. Right? Oh, other people got multiple properties. Their whole family is all set for multiple generations, right? We're talking generational wealth. Spread the generational wealth around, and what happens is everybody starts to become equals. And the people who have more, they don't want that. They don't want you to be equal with Joe Blow down the street with missing teeth and tattoos all over. They don't want to be, in the fucking next to a private yacht with people who are drinking PBRs and got fucking Confederate flags and shit just because they're sharing the wealth, right? That's how it's planned. It's a design. That's how it's supposed to be. You keep the people working, the working class working, and the ones who can get through the cracks and manage to make that money somehow, whether it's good or bad. Some people they have no. I remember when I was taking business classes, I was a business major when I was in college. That was like what I thought I was want to do. And he said in one of the first business related marketing classes I took, the teacher, he worked like on Wall Street, was like in Fortune 500 companies, and she was like, "Yo, if you have morals, like if you have morals as a person and you care about people," he's like, getting into this type of business probably isn't for you. Mm-hmm. Right. And he said, we're out here, we're going to fucking do and say anything we fucking can to make the sale happen. Get the money. He's like, someone's going to be like, out here, they're going to be like this, that, the other thing. And you're going to have to weigh whether or not, and you will have to like take your morals and be like, and just go with the business decision. And sometimes that's going to hurt people. And he's like, and if you can't do that, then just get the fuck out of here. So like after that, I was like, well, fuck, I'm not going to do that shit. So I'm out of here. What am I going to do? I'm going to focus on political science now, whatever. So yeah, that was a big thing for me. I was like, no, I care about people in general too much to fucking, say that. There's people that can piss you off in life. You could be mad at someone, but people in humanity as a fucking whole, I mean, we're all out here basically just trying to get by on this fucking rock that's spinning out of control, right? So and we're only here for a short amount of time, so you got to try to make the best of what you got here. And I feel like if you're working 40, some people work 60, 80 hours a week, which is fucking ridiculous. I think working 20, 24 hours a week is good. I think if you're working 20, 24 hours a week, you should be able to support your family. Single person working 20, 24 hours a week should be able to support a family with that. And it would probably never happen without universal income and whatever, which we're kind of getting with this. Some people are getting with the child tax credit or whatever, but it's really not a lot. Yeah, and stimuluses have helped and stuff like that too. But I'm talking reoccurring payments. Like right now, I'm getting $500 a month from the government for having kids, which is cool and everything, but doesn't really cover too much for a lot of Americans. That $500 isn't a lot of money at all. Happens where I'm at. It does pretty well for us, but that's just because of the geographic location I'm in. Right. But for a lot of people, it doesn't. And I feel like that's a step in the right direction. And I feel like our treasurer, what's her name? Janet Yellen. Yeah. Our treasurer now is a pretty good treasurer. She believes in this reoccurring credit to continue on indefinitely. Like she was saying, if we could do this, it lifts like, I can't remember the number, but millions of kids right out of poverty almost instantly. And I think the free lunch program that they did for schools now.
That should be permanent.
Yeah, permanent thing, free lunch for everybody. Granted, the food, I don't know how the food is at your school. It's not very good at my kids' school. They send food back and it's food. Like not good. I'm like, half the shit is like, damn, this is what they feed you. But it is free and there is nutrition in there. You can pull, they give apples and fruits and good things for you. You can always have that. I think that's great because a lot of kids, they were saying, are food insecure and like the only time they eat is when they go to school. Right. So that should be free. If you're asking me a permanent thing.
If that's the only meal you're forced to pay for it on top of that, that's just like it's a slap in the face.
Why are we paying taxes if the fucking food isn't free? I don't understand. So yeah, food definitely that should be a permanent thing. And Maine just did that, by the way. Maine voted and the governor made the free meals for kids like a permanent thing, which is cool. But yeah. We could probably go on with that all goddamn episode of talking about government wrongs and shit like that. But I think we're, pretty much on the same page when it comes to that. I
got another one if you want to hear some weird shit.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So this happened this was this week, but it happened over in, trying to find where the fuck, Hebei province. It's outside Beijing, China. Okay. So parents in China were reunited with their abducted son after 24 years.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
So he was abducted as a toddler outside the front gate of his house. And Guo Gangtang and his wife are the parents. They hugged their 26-year-old son last Sunday, actually, at a reunion organized by police in their hometown of Laocheng in eastern province of Shandong. So...
we don't know really where that is.
Yeah, that means nothing to me.
China.
China's a huge country, but it's somewhere in China.
That's like when I call all of Massachusetts Boston.
Right.
Even though it's like, well, it's either Boston or like Western Mass. That's it.
The Berkshires, yeah.
Yeah.
So Guo Zhizhen was aged 2.5 when he was grabbed by a woman and her boyfriend, and they took him to northwest Hebei province, which surrounds Beijing, according to police. And from there, he was sold to a couple in central China. Abductions of children for sale are reportedly regularly happening in China.
Wow.
Though how often it happens is unclear because, they can't really keep fucking track of that shit. The problem is aggravated by restrictions that until 2015 allowed most urban couples one kid.
Right.
Boys are sold to couples who want a son to look after them when they get old. And girls typically go to parents who want a servant or a bride for their only son.
Jesus.
Yeah. So this human trafficking and abduction shit's like, it's like gun violence in America.
Jesus.
Yeah. It's every day.
There's so many issues.
So the police found this kid in June by searching databases of images of people who looked like he might look as an adult. So they kind of used this aging technology to figure out what this kid might look like, and they matched it to fucking pictures of people that they had in this database. And then obviously they confirmed his identity with a DNA test. The woman and her boyfriend that abducted him, identified only by the surnames of Tang and Hu, were caught and confessed to trafficking 3 boys, according to the police. They've yet to stand trial, but potential penalties range up to death.
Oh,
so,
shit.
There you go.
Okay.
Kidnappers. Sorry, go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, kidnappers target children who are too young to even know their names or hometowns, and sometimes even that they were abducted at all. So they get them young, so they don't, can identify who they are or where they're from, and makes it even harder to track these kids.
Because you just tell them you're this guy.
Right. I know this guy's face. Like, I see this guy's face. He's giving me food every day.
Right.
I don't know my name. I don't know where I'm from because I'm 2, and I have 20 words.
Yeah.
And I know this guy's my dad.
Takes care of me or whatever. Yeah.
Right.
Weird.
So, clearly people are calling for, the buyers of trafficked children to be punished. But there's no real way to figure out who's buying kids, what kid they're buying. It's a big thing. But
likely not giving out receipts.
Right? Right? But 24 years later, he was finally found, returned, or reunited, I should say, with his parents, who he literally knows nothing about.
Right.
Which is crazy to think, And apparently the dad that was doing the searching was going out on a motorcycle, in the countryside, just looking every single day for, his son. They ended up making a movie about this guy. It's a Chinese movie, but basically took his story and, made I don't know what Hollywood in China would be called, but they made a Hollywood movie about this story. And I can't imagine being in that kid's shoes, being reunited with your biological parents. Weird. And you're like, okay, yeah. I don't know you at all.
I'm a full adult. You know what I mean? A completely full adult. How would you acclimate to that? You know what I mean?
I think
we're just roommates now.
Oh, so this is a quote from the kid, or the guy who's fully grown now. But he said, "He is a great father. I am proud of him." That's his quote.
Okay.
We believe you. Kidnapped father or his real father?
His biological father.
Oh, okay.
Because he was sweet. Obviously filled in about the story of him going out looking every day for this guy, and he's probably blown away. Wow, he kept it up after 24 years, just nonstop every day. I'd be pretty impressed if somebody did that, and
Well, yeah, they care about him. It's fucking his kid,
right?
Yeah. So, recent strange news aside, let's talk about your first projects and your influences early on. What kind of got you into it? What kind of music were you listening to at the time? And who, if anyone, were you kind of trying to emulate in a way?
So my very first hip hop project that I made all the beats and I recorded myself came out, I think, in 2018. It was a project called Hypothetical Situations, which it's not available any longer, but I have a tape on my Bandcamp that has a couple of the songs that I kept from it or whatever. Yeah. So that was in 2018, and then in 2019 I had made an album called The Static Television that never ever came out, and then it was I lost the files, I don't have the beats, it's this whole thing, so that also kind of got put on that tape of extras and stuff. But my early on influences were I didn't grow up with hip hop. I kind of grew up with I was in a metal band for 9 years and stuff, and that's a whole other thing. But when I finally got into hip hop, it was directly into the obscure like definitive jux like Cage and LP, and then like Rhymesayer's idea and abilities, like you know what
Yeah.
I mean. I feel like you know I do a lot of like especially then and especially now I do a lot of like storytelling type tracks. So I feel like I like there's a tendency to get compared to like Atmosphere just because like he like Slug does a lot of storytelling stuff, but I pretty much fell off of Atmosphere after God Loves Ugly. You know what I mean? There's like a few things after that that I like.
Yeah, same. Pretty much. I mean, The God Loves Ugly was great, and I felt like when after following that up, it was kind of hard. The Seven's Travels was okay.
That wasn't bad.
But it was Seven's Travels for me where I heard Seven's Travels. I think that you were in Florida.
I was in Florida,
yeah,
yeah.
so that's pretty much when I stopped kind of. But I have got into some of his newer stuff actually that he was doing more
Dad
recently.
rap.
Yeah, the dad rap shit, which was cool. And his other artist, this dude Prof, who's fucking super dope.
Yeah.
I love him. He's awesome. Dude.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Props and Liability, which like, you know, I mean, I was into a lot of like Rhymesayers and stuff. I'm not so much into Rhymesayers anymore. I'm still on the Definitive Jux thing, but like then like, you know, I would do a disservice to the man by saying that like MF Doom like heavily inspires me in a lot of ways, you know what I mean? So like that's definitely crept into it. I get like Aesop Rock sometimes because I have a tendency to use like, what is that?
I've been friends with
Yeah.
Idea since before he passed away on Facebook.
So I did a tour with Carnage the Executioner, like on the song Star Destroyer, and that's the closest that I've ever. I never got to meet Idea or anything like that, but I have his mom on Facebook, so I feel pretty like. You know,
she manages his page now. I'm pretty sure, but before I always commented on his shit when he would post stuff and told him how dope he was. He responded, dude. So I've had him on Facebook for a while, dude. He was one of he was one of the actually first people I had on Facebook. I've had a few people, and I never met him in person. It was all just interactions online and shit. But yeah, definitely someone that I'd love to follow. All back in the day when those videos he had a lot of videos. It wasn't like like the battle videos and everything else. Like it wasn't like YouTube was around, so it's like you had to get your hands on it some other kind of way, or like download it illegally, or was like some bootleg version or something. So it was hard to come across. So like for us, it was like we dug hard to find it, and it was like we cherished it. So like we kind of was like. Almost in a way kind of shaped how I kind of do music too, the whole Rhymesayers from the early 2000s on. Not that, but I kind of took like from Rhymesayer shit from Slug and Atmosphere and Idea and Abilities and Sage Francis, yeah. And I blended that with the commercial shit like the Nas and the Jay-Z, and like I loved that Nas from like 96 to 2003, whatever. Like I kind of like blended those two styles together, and that's kind of how I got started back in like 99 or whatever. So like for me, kind of along the same lines, I wasn't as much into Def Jux like you were. More into Def Jux like me. I like Pharoah Monch and like shit like that, but and Most Def and shit like that. But yeah, I mean, I think that kind of goes through, huh?
I like that shit too, like Black Star. Like I'll throw on Black Star sometimes, and like you know, I'm into a lot of the like, I'm into a lot of like the older stuff too, but it's like mostly like my influences at that time were really just like LP and like Cage and stuff like that. Which like Cage, I feel such a way about him because like I really have loved a lot of his artistry, but now it's like he's off on some like he's a Nazi, he's this, he's that. I'm like it's sad to see like people that you love like kind of grow like up, you know what I mean? In ways that are like, I mean, he was talking about smoking dust and like being crazy way back in 2000. So like, I'm not super surprised, but you know.
Right. I bought Cage's tape, opened it, and dubbed over it.
I love
I
it.
mean, to
There's
be shouted out by Eminem
Right.
is cool enough, especially back then in his heyday. They kind of had a thing going,
Yeah.
but still, he mentioned him, and I know for a fact that just mentioning him helped him get at least some notoriety.
Right.
More people were looking at him. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, who's this guy?
and he's dope. He's not like, he's not Eminem, but he's pretty dope though for a fucking rapper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Cage has a song from their beef called "The Illest Four-Letter Word," and it starts out and he's like, "I heard some blonde bitch coming through New York looking for Cage. I stab you in the face 5 times in the same place." I'm like, that's exactly what it. You know what I mean? Like they were. I don't know who was biting who, but they were doing the same shit. You know what I mean?
They just had the same kind of style, dude. You know what I mean? It just so happened Eminem was the one who kind of got picked up because really at that time, that hip hop, they were looking for that. Even though they didn't really know, they were looking for that like white shock type rap like shit. And it just so happened Eminem was the big one.
They were looking for something different, and that's what was.
And then after the fact, Cage started trying to come at Eminem or however that worked, and it was like people thought, oh, this motherfucker just trying to be like him.
Right.
But it really was they were both original. They weren't like biting each other's shit, which is crazy when you think about, when you look back at it, where his career has gone versus where Eminem's career has gone. I thought after Eminem put out that fucking, what was it, Encore or some shit? He actually did that show, the Eminem show one. I didn't even really like that. He was talking all weird, like he was talking like Pee Wee Herman and doing all kinds of weird accents. With all that, right? So after that, I thought there was no chance he was even going to bounce. I never thought he would get even bigger when he did. What was it? The shit that came out after Recovery, I think. When he had all those hits that came off that fucking album, I thought he was done. So I counted them out. I'm like, that's it. He ain't going to come back. Nobody wants to hear that. That's weird.
The last thing I liked by him was I did like that Kamikaze tape that he put out.
Yeah, I did too.
Like before, because I don't know, he was doing stuff like, like I'll stick an ice pick in the tip of my dick with a trident, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm just like, I just like to hear him. He doesn't have to rap about anything at this point in time. I just want to hear him just like talk about bizarre shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. It's cool what he's doing on that album was dope because it was like a lot of new age producers and different shit that he hadn't really fucked with. There was a song on that album in particular called Fall that I really liked because it's like so different. You know what I mean? For him, they had that trap kind of like weird spacey beat, and it was super simple with like this singing hook, and that song in particular really caught my fucking ears. But yeah, shout out to them. Cage still. Doing it was a surprise too. If you hear fucking shit back in the day, you would have thought his career would have been done. But no, he's dope enough to where Eminem could say shit about him, and he still have a bunch more followers than he had before that shit. So, shout out to him.
Seriously.
But yeah, so what about your favorite like unexplained phenomenon? Like out of everything that's out there, could be, aliens, UFOs, werewolves, Bigfoot, fucking ghosts. Like if you had to talk about something for a topic at a keynote speaker thing, what would be your best, easiest topic on that subject to kind of like talk about?
So I feel like, I feel like in my lifetime I've had a lot of like kind of ghost, like paranormal experiences, but I don't even want to talk about that. I'm on like a Sasquatch thing right now. Like, I saw like, me and my fiance were like up super late one night, and we saw like this, like our cow was killed by a Sasquatch thing, and we were like, wow, that's really scary. And then we saw that Hulu documentary about it, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Sasquatch, not real, but like definitely, or maybe real. I don't know. I've never seen one. What do you guys think? You think Sasquatch is real?
Well, we talk about this a lot.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. So like I have a theory on Sasquatch and other things that really can't be explained, right? And I think that it has to do with dimensions, right? Because I think that there's vibrations, right, and like sounds that we can't even see or hear and shit like that all around us. We already know this is a fact, so like we can only perceive what we're able to perceive, right? So like at this very time, right around us on different vibrations, who knows if there isn't other beings that are just right here with us,
right?
So that's a whole other thing. But if we're talking about universes, right? Let's say Bigfoot. Let's just think of universes like a book, right? You get your book, your pages, and all these universes just flat right on each other. And it's easy to just, if you're looking at the book, it's easy to just take your fucking finger and go up and down through the pages while it's closed, right? So think about that as we're on in one of those pages, and then this other reality on this same earth is Bigfoot's reality.
Ghosts.
And ghosts have their own, and aliens have their own, right?
Vampires.
And sometimes they just intertwine, right, for periods of time. And that, for me, would explain a lot of things, is why we don't get a lot of, that we hear about alien recovery or Bigfoot recovery or anything. We don't come across Bigfoot bones. And at this point, I feel like the money that's been invested, there's been a lot of shows. Expedition Bigfoot was a huge one. That guy spent $3 million+ searching for Bigfoot in places. They did a computer algorithm just to find out where the sightings were at what time of year, and they went to these places. And while they got close and they did catch some really cool, strange things, a lot of it had to do with anytime they would hear something or see something, there would be orbs. Right. This is where I think it's common. You see orbs with ghosts. You see orbs with fucking aliens. You see orbs with Bigfoots. So that's why I'm thinking it's some sort of interdimensional, transdimensional, something like that. I don't think that they exist on this. Like, we can't just go find their home. Like, they may have temporary ones. They found lean-tos, and they don't live in that. There's no fucking way. Right. That's something they're here, and maybe they do this on purpose. Maybe they have the ability to, and we don't even know. Or maybe it's just something that they don't have control over, It
just happens.
Yeah, and maybe because they see things on a different plane than we do, and hear different vibrations and see different things than we do. So I think there's just a lot that can't really be explained, and I'm like on the fence about I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I've seen a lot of shit on YouTube too, and I've watched a lot of documentaries and all that good shit, and I've seen a lot of things that kind of convinced me. There was this guy, Paul Standing is his name. If you look up Sasquatch Paul Standing, he's got some of the fucking best footage, I think, ever of fucking Sasquatch. He's got like these super powerful cameras on Zoom, and he's spent time in the fucking woods for like days, not even moving, standing in one place, right, trying to catch these fucking things in the snow, all that. And he's got a bunch of shit. If you check him out on Todd Standing's YouTube, and he was actually featured on one of those documentaries too on, I don't know, Netflix or something, but he literally has some of the best shit, and if it's fake, it's done pretty good. And he tried to get the government of Vancouver government to like make it known that these things were real. He presented them with the videos that he had, and he's like, these things fucking exist. We need to be aware of them. We need to, respect them. We need to he wanted to make them a protected species. He didn't want people to fucking kill them if they found them, right? And they laughed him out of there. They're like, bro, you're fucking stop. Like, he's like, look at all this shit. And they're just like, nah. And he filed a lawsuit against them or something. Like, he was really trying hard. So that really kind of got me to buy into it. And once I started watching those Todd Stanley, this was like, a couple of years ago now, beginning of the pandemic, kind of. Once I started seeing those Todd Stanley videos and that documentary, that set me off on the Bigfoot thing, and I've kind of been on the Bigfoot thing since then. Obviously, other things are interesting too, but for some reason, the Bigfoot thing really gets me. I don't know if it's I'm a type of person I want to know. I need to know the facts, like I want to know. So like, this is something that I feel like all these shows and all these people are specifically trying to find it, but can't. They can only get shitty video or sounds, or they never really can come up on something, and they're really trying hard, nothing definitive. And that for me, really, it's like, it gets my anxiety going. I'm like, damn, when are they gonna fuck? I'm like, I watch these shows, I'm like, come on, is this the one? They're gonna find the motherfucker right now. So it's hard for me, but I do think that has something to do with that plane that we live on, or a multiple dimension reality that we kind of live in. We just don't fully understand yet, or simulation even. Yep. That's another one that we talk about. Simulated reality could explain it as well. Maybe they're people playing this game like GTA, people popping these weird ass motherfuckers in to try to fuck with us, whatever it is. Aliens, another thing that I really like. We talked about this before. Aliens could be us from the future. That's another fucking theory, right? We've changed so much in 1,000 years to adapt. We look like aliens or whatever. Yeah. So like, that's a cool theory, but the multidimensional one for me is one that could work for like all of them.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of stick to that. I feel like that could be the best way for me anyway to explain it. But I always leave it open to, discussion. I'm always open for that.
Yeah, but maybe it's an oversimplification of it, and maybe it's a lot more complex and our brains can't understand it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We're too dumb.
We're gonna try to understand it regardless, though.
And maybe it is we can't perceive it. Like there's sounds we know there's sounds that exist that our human ears can't hear.
And spectrum for your eyes too. Your eyes can only catch so much too.
Yep.
Do you guys know about the mantis shrimp?
What about it?
I know of it. Is there something
mantis,
about it?
It has like 27 like photo color receptors in its eyeballs, which is like we only have like it's like 3 or 4 or something like that. And it punches so hard underwater that it boils the water. That is like,
wow.
And it's like this big, dude.
And they live deep in the ocean, like deep.
I don't know. I don't think it's as deep. I saw a video on YouTube of a guy literally fishing, and one jumped in his boat and freaking it. They have clubbed arms that go like this, and it punched it through his boot, dude.
Dude, wow. I'm not going in the water again.
Those things.
No, but
I'll stay out the water.
Imagine if we could see what they see. Like that's the documentary was talking about how like. You know, like I saw one of these things square up with an octopus because the octopus was hanging out with its like camouflage, but because it can see all the different shades and colors that like normally most animals can't see, it was able to just get it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much where I stand on that. Do you have any like personal experiences with anything that's paranormal, anything like that?
I have a couple of like paranormal experiences with, like I said, like more like ghostly type of like apparitions. When I was really, really young in my like one of the first places I remember like living, I was playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 like mad late at night, and my parents were asleep and all this shit, and like I was getting really, really pissed off, and I heard a voice tell me that it was like gonna be okay, and like I was like, oh okay, I'm probably just crazy. But when I opened the door to the living room, there was like a lady kind of like standing in there, and then she like walked into where the bathroom was, and then when I went in there, there was nothing out there. And then like my grandmother's house, like they built it themselves, and so they always my grandmother always took in like her friends and stuff when they were sick, so a lot of people have passed away in that house, and I've had weird stuff happen. Like she keeps all these like old dolls and stuff like that, and when I was younger, it was like they scared the crap out of me, and I would take them and I would put them like underneath the mattress that I was like sleeping on and stuff like that, and I would wake up and they would be like back like on the bed, but it's like you couldn't move, you couldn't get it out without me moving or knowing or whatever. And I also for 2 years I was in a videography class, and I was doing a short film kind of upstairs, and I had this day where all the footage that I had no sound on it. Like, and I was wearing headphones, and I could see the on the camera, I could see that it was recording audio when I was doing the videos. No audio on any of it, except for I did like a pan across the room, and there was like one of those creepy ass dolls, and it just like static like noise, like stereotypical YouTube Slenderman video, static white noise. And then when I panned away from it, it just like stopped. And that was the only audio that was in the entire batch of footage that I took that day.
What?
Fucked up.
Yeah. Weird. So I would say that's probably, I mean, like I've had, I could kind of go on all day. Like I feel kind of like, my apartment that I was living in Manchester was kind of like, had some stuff in it. Me and my fiance found out more about the about its kind of history, and a lot of it's like a guy hung himself in a room that we like painted a noose in, like not knowing, you know what I mean, like weird synchronicities that like really weird you out, where you're like emanating into like some sort of energy that's like passing through, like how would those types of things like, correlate? How would I know that? You know what I mean?
That ties in, though, if you think about it, that ghost thing you said, you saw the lady, you heard the voice, you saw the lady, then she walked through and she was gone. That's like passing through our dimension momentarily, right? So
Yeah.
maybe that's exactly what it is, not a ghost, but someone who's currently living in a different time. Like, even like, old time, say, oh, well, they were wearing a dress like the old timey shit. All right, so there's two ways to explain it. They died and their energy goes to a different universe, and it's always replaying all the things they did in life all over, right? Or it's another being from another universe. It's just like, or another, multiple universe that's there and crosses over, and they're there at that place, right, on Earth, but like in their universe, and it just happens to be at that time. It's just like the weirdest thing to think about. But yeah, I think that kind of explains it perfectly, like what I was talking about. It was just there for a second. You had no proof. You just saw, right? You see, you try to get that proof, and it's gone, but you know for a fact you saw something or heard something, and it's like the same idea goes for Bigfoot. It's the same thing. They see a glimpse of it. They could track it, try to find it, this, that. People have said that Bigfoot's come up and fucking attacked their tent ship. They never saw it.
Right.
Right.
Things like that. It's like, what? Okay. So same idea. I like how that kind of tied into what we were talking about, the sighting thing, because sometimes you just say people see a sighting, and that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say they're there for a second and not. I think like maybe they can go to different shit. But yeah, what about top five? Top five. Put you on the spot. We do top five. What's your top five artists?
Like right this second, or like of all time?
Whatever
you define it.
Yeah,
however you want to define it.
Well,
and it's not limited to just like music either. It could be like fucking Picasso or Tchaikovsky or whoever.
That could be metal bands. Doesn't fucking matter.
So, all right, let me see. Let me try to do this. I'll start with two rappers. I'll start with LP and MF Doom.
All right.
For this is in no particular order. For number 3, I'm gonna go for the director David Lynch.
Okay.
Number 4, I'm gonna go for the painter Basquiat. Jean-Michel Basquiat. And then number 5, bro. Number 5 is hard.
Well, you rattled off 4. We typically don't get people that rattle off 4 right in a row. They have 5 minutes in between each one. So you're ahead of them.
I would say like I'm listening to a lot of Homeboy Sandman right now, so it's like, but I wouldn't say that like he's like in my top 5 rotation right now, just because like I'm kind of discovering a lot of his stuff, but I want to fill that top 5 with like a definitive person, but I'm like, I don't. It's hard. Yeah, MF Doom, definitely top 4. MF Doom, LP, David Lynch, Basquiat, and for number 5, I'm gonna say like. I mean, I'm influenced by a lot of like writers in general, so it's hard for me to name like a specific one, but I like, like. I was really influenced by like William S. Burroughs or like Hunter S. Thompson. Maybe I'll go number 5. Let's go for Hunter S. Thompson.
Okay.
There you go.
It's a good solid top 5 right there.
Hell yeah.
2 rappers and 3 different kinds of artists.
Yeah. No, it's cool. What else should we do another top 5 for? You pick. Top 5.
Oh, top 5. Let's see.
Here.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, right here. Top 5.
Let's do. We haven't done songs before.
Yeah, songs.
Top 5 songs.
And it's just fluid. Doesn't matter what genre.
Yeah, top 5 that you're listening to right now.
All right, top 5 that I'm listening to right now is. All right, so I got Trauma and Waiting on My Girl by Homeboy Sandman. I got let's do Avalanche by MF Doom and Madlib. Let's do. I've been listening to a lot of like I've been making beats lately, so I've been doing a lot of soundtracking. So I've been listening to listening through a lot of soundtracks. So let's say the Suspiria soundtrack produced by Goblin, and then let's do. I have I have one of my own songs has been in heavy rotation, but it's like unreleased. So you know what I mean. I can't say too much about that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Word.
Oh, look at that. Right on the dot. 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. So I'm actually thinking about doing a smoke break. Like I'm gonna go outside, smoke, and I'm gonna bring my phone down. I've got my phone over there. What's up, Zanny? Oh,
So, bro,
what up, though?
I just wanted to say I saw that Hero said we love Seven and Seven, or Hero, we love bars over bars. He is in the multiplicity of me.
Hero fucking finds time for everything.
Oh yeah, he'll pop in. He's probably not watching right now, but he'll see this later and he'll know it's all hearts.
Just ready to go.
Yeah. Just hit that and see if we can bring it over.
What is that?
That's just my hand. All right, so what I'm gonna do is you want to come with me, you can come with me, or you can stay. I don't care. I'm just gonna take my phone. I'm gonna go down for this smoke break. We're just gonna flash before I go. This is the smoke break. It is brought to you by where's that phone? Fuck it, right here.
Second row.
Right here.
There you go.
Fire on 4. So yeah, it's time definitely to smoke. And I'm in a hotel, so bear with me. We're gonna walk through the fucking halls and get this done. In the meantime, what I want to do is fuck.
Can we play one of those videos?
I was wondering if he could do it from his end, but probably not if he's not signed in. I don't know. I don't think
I can play it.
You can? Oh, you're gonna stay here? All right, cool.
Yeah, I'll stay here. We'll play.
So
the videos.
we're gonna play. Yeah, that's cool. Play one of these videos from me. Can we play the first one that you sent?
Yes, the first one that I sent is going to be one of my first shows here down in Kentucky, actually in Louisville. And I was wondering, can I run real quick and grab some smokage while this jams out?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, word. Yeah, you guys are gonna get to see the whole entire shed now. So enjoy that and enjoy the video.
All right, I'm going out. Get some weed.
All right, here we go. We're gonna share the screen. All right, looks like we're live in Louisville, Kentucky. This was a couple weeks ago, July 1st.
Show of hands. How many people hate their jobs that they're at? Hey, I know we all lost our jobs during COVID and shit, but hey, I can't even work until I get a new ID, so this song's not relevant, but this song's called Dacious. I drink too much coffee and I pay too.
Yo, I've got a cricket shared over, I think, so I can see it. Oh, there we go.
Yep. There we go.
jumps floating from his plastic lung. Aim, track the blood flowing from his acid tongue. Run, animals attacking with the self-destructive. Every day is different than why are you here? Every syllable an antidote until the check's clear. I sound silly, but an animal I'm making my fear. And I'm skilled in every avenue I choose to appear. And I got two tickets in the Nova Express. Running from the battlefield while I am cursed by a hex. Coronal visions in the doors of my past. I'm swinging my katana, but I'll never last. Woo! Yo, I split a game and then I John Doe. I don't want to be a rare yo. Every day a little disconnected.
All right, I'm gonna bring it back a minute. I don't know if the audio was going through on that.
I'm no stranger to abandon. I'm a cannon, I blow at random. I hold my tongue until I'm language. I feel an anguish. I smoke a grape and now I'm spaceship. Used to think that better teach it and get wasted. Now I'm just a slave to the nation. I'm a cannon, I blow at random. Hold my tongue until I'm language. I'm feeling anxious. I smoke a grape and now I'm spaceship. Used to take that medication and get wasted. Now I'm just a slave to my day shift. Yeah.
Get your soul.
This next song, ironically, is called John Doe. Talk about social anxiety. It's gonna drop eventually when I end with the bass. I split a game and then I John Doe. I don't wanna be around yo. Every day a little disconnected. Convoluted every single message. I guess I'm aiming at the wrong time. Like a tsunami, always wrong time. I split a game and then I John Doe. And I don't wanna be a rando. 7 span cutting down his own plan. I'm 26, time to write my own plan. Embodying the aura of an old man. A soldier with the orders, only cold hands. From all the blood frozen in the like a done. A glass of chump floating from his plastic lung. A track the blood flowing from his acid tongue. Run, animals attracted with the self-destructive. Every day is different than why are you here? Every syllable an antidote until the check's clear. I sound silly, but an animal I'm making my fear. And I'm skilled in every avenue I choose to appear. And I got two tickets in the Nova Express. Running from the battlefield while I am cursed by a hex. Coronal visions in the doors of my past. I'm swinging my katana, but I'll never last. Yo, I split a game and then I John Doe. I don't want to be a rare yo. Every day a little disconnected. Convoluted every single message. I guess I'm aiming at the wrong time. Like I'll be always wrong time. I split a game and then I John Doe. I don't want to be around. What are your judgments by refractions and factless infractions of my character? In fact, an fraction of one action, I can mimic any source of attraction, the notion of attraction that you have. Overflowing with the moments start to change. Order up, observe these rodents in their cage. Watch them run a maze, electro to the brain. I've gone insane, but it's entertainment. Watch the 100-fold purpose and aimless. I split a game then I John Doe. I don't want to be a rando. Every day a little disconnected. Convoluted every single message. I guess I'm aiming at the wrong time. Like a tsunami, always wrong time. I split a game and then I John Doe. I don't want to be around y'all, now dance. And give it up to the Louisville vibe. And give it up to DJ Diddy behind. And give it up to all of the hosts, which I don't know everyone's name, but thank you for coming out from me. So why don't you come and tip me? I got some shit over there if you want to buy it. 15 for ski mask and shirt. Peace.
Yeah.
Yo. Definitely got
Turning zombie in the astromatter.
You can pause this part.
So I know the fucking audio was all fucking up and shit. So sorry about that. But
it only cut out in the beginning, but we restarted. It only really cut out for like a couple seconds there for a weird. It must have been the ghost in the machine, you know?
right?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
okay though. The audio like through that, like it's like rougher, but I just feel like that was like a fun night. So you know what I mean? Like I feel like I performed another song too, but I think that like in the very beginning, like I had like an intro and everybody was like being like really loud. I wasn't used to it, so like I couldn't hear the beat, my own beat coming in. So I was like, "What is going on?" But so I cut that out.
All right. You want me to run one of these other ones too?
Yeah. Let's run another one. I'm almost back, but let's run it.
Which one, Seven? The second or the third one?
So the second one is a music video for a song called "Creatures" that my fiance directed and shot, and I would like to play that one because that's
Definitely
a dope song.
All right, let's get this loaded up here.
That hotel looks dope, by the way.
All right, and Obese is back.
What up, what up?
All right, back in the stream, and we're going to share.
Yeah.
Chrome tab.
Welcome back, my dude.
Yeah, I was going for a long trip.
Creatures.
Oh, yeah, I heard this before.
I love this beat, by the way. This beat is so simple. It's comprised of an Obese. You can hear it's comprised of 3 elements only, but it like just goes so hard. Well, 4 elements because there's something in the chorus piece, but I don't know. I love this beat in this song in general.
Yeah, I like this song.
All right, here we go. Oh, my bad.
Here, go back over to the stream, Nick. See what happens over there. So we can't see it? Oh, there it is. It just takes a second. I got it. Cool. We can do this too, I think, no?
It's like, oh yeah, there we go. Oh.
Yeah. Hotel internet.
I feel that.
Trust farm kids, leather jacket, daredevils, and the rust buckets, dipping six like cage kennels. Used to play the 8 strings, for those I fucking hated. Always felt us strange, the mimic in the name of microphone in hand.
Oh, what the fuck?
Heaven ain't for angels. I wanted to outer rim and then I turned to phantom. Too many lazy rape apologists are ending with the holotips, faking anthropologists, homophobic race of child sodomists. All of this, what a thriving underground economy, and I still show
Never
up
mind.
to abolish them. Accomplishments receding like the lines that mark the scouts. Abusive crew,
I
straight
was gonna say
jerking
turn
up
the
their pounds.
quality
I can
down.
count on one hand how many that I keep around. If you
We're
want
already
some,
there.
you ain't no keep 7 out your mouth.
2 gigs of RAM does this computer have? 8. That's like minimum to run this program too, because my old computer had 8. My new one's got 32. I have no problems anymore with on my end. My shit used to skip all the time. I can't even believe I did so many without a new computer. Because it was bad. Yeah, this beat is so dirty. I remember when I heard this, I was like, dude, what the fuck? Sounds like a fucking Halloween beat.
The city that raised me proceeded to burn. A fresh start is liberation for your character, and you can't board the arc if you're a third of every animal inanimate. Moving nowhere while crows pick at the frame. It was equivalent to being lucid in the nightmare land. Branded the divisive man by insecure environments. Still searching for the cabin to explode the joy of silence in. I can't change the earth, but a smile can. Rather than the dirt, finding nothing but inspiring. Met a couple people who truly changed inside of me. Riders on the storm, keep the key to the asylum.
Sample sounds so familiar, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I almost can like pick it out.
And no matter what lush hellscape I get trapped in, I make a garden of earthly delights out of traction. My life is sinking ship. I
I'll sample snitch the hell out of myself on this, dude.
I played the stranger, but I never shot a man on the beach. Smoking blunts and drinking coffee is my piece. Creatures that crawl out from my dreams receive.
Murder this beat.
Director cuts the scene.
Just saying.
I'll leave a manuscript for you to read backwards and forwards. A ballad of quarters, going from a mental health related disease. Surviving black plagues, living in this area. They're looking at me like I was the wolf of West area. No Albert Fish dinner parties, out of touch, sending harpies could get on my nerves without an army. 7 out. The portal is open.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sasquatch is coming through.
Welcome to the night.
Exactly.
Hell yeah. Just do this.
So the sample, there's, like I said, the song is comprised completely of 4 elements.
Yeah, the xylophone sample in there, and then the whoom, whoom, and the drums. Yeah, and what else?
It's one break for the drums.
Yeah.
Then I took an acoustic bass and made it sound like a heavy 808.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the main sample is from Suspiria. It's the main theme from Suspiria, the Dario Argento movie. And then the chorus sample is from King Crimson's. I think it's like, it's like something in Bible Black. But yeah, that's like some 1970s like progressive rock shit.
Hell yeah. I would
that.
murder that motherfucking beat. Just saying. I could probably spit 32 straight over that. Just murder it.
Dude, that's exactly, I did 3 verses, and it's like I can't remember. My style's evolved a lot, and I do a lot of like shorter songs, or I'll like combine songs. So it's like 1 verse, 2 verses type of deal. But like when I made this beat, I was like, it's the last song on the album. I'm like, 3 verses, no hook.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Love it.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. You always need a motherfucking hook, you know? Have you seen the live resin video?
Yeah, with what is it with Libsy, right? I watched it the other day, like, and I was just mesmerized by the inside of the dispensary. Like,
Yeah, the walls, bro, were so sick when I got in there. Libsy was like, we want to shoot it there, because I had never been there. Basque is in Fairhaven, which is near him. And I'm like, word, I'll take your word for it. He's like, they don't let you take pictures in there, so I can't. He's like, but there's weed on the walls. I'm like, all right, weed on the walls, that sounds cool. But we get in there, and it's just like that close up, like HD picture of the buds and shit. And I was like, oh man, you weren't lying. I was like, this shit is everywhere. He's like, yeah, I told you. So I was like, okay, so it's going down. It's really going down. And the beginning part of the video is like, us doing the walkthrough with the management, and like me telling them where we're gonna film shit, and like fucking with the money and shit like that, the prop money, the movie money or whatever. And so yeah, I mean, it was fun. We only had those 2 locations, you know. So basically, it was at Quincy Quarries and at Basque and Fairhaven, which was fucking really great for making, you know, for me, for my work, as far as that's concerned. But I was able to fly the drone at Quincy Quarries, which was wicked cool, and get there's like a 8K hyperlapse little clip in that music video. That's me having the drone just hovering, watching the traffic go by at the Quincy Quarries. The helicopter part was fucking hilarious. I got a story for the helicopter. I say, major label dude, top shelf is hella proper, dabs in my bag, all gas, no helicopters, right? And so like, the first time we were there, and this is the funny story about live resin, I had somebody with me helping me do my camera work the first time I came down to do live resin, and he lost a bunch of the footage, like mad footage. And we were there the first time, we caught a helicopter when we were there, and we're like, oh, that doesn't happen like ever, like when you're there, and we're making a song, and I mentioned a helicopter, and we got it on video. And so he lost that footage, right? So when I get back over to Quincy Quarries, and me and Libsy were up at the top doing that part where we're dancing, like singing on the rocks at Boston in the background. We were coming down from shooting that, and we were like, oh man, wouldn't it be so dope if we could get a fucking helicopter again? I'm like, I know, right? It's like once in a lifetime that shit happens. And like, as I'm saying that, bro, I shit you not, I hear the fucking helicopter, and I'm carrying all my camera gear, and I look around, I drop all my shit, bro, and I'm like, yo, fucking take the camera, and I'm like, here it is, camera. I'm like, look at, and the whole time, if you unmute the video part, not like have the music video, you can just hear me and Libsy wilding out. Like, I'm like, I'm getting it. What the fuck? This never happens. Like, this is wild. And I'm like, I can't wait to put it in there. And so like that was actual footage from like the helicopter I caught at Quincy Corey's that day after spitting that fucking shit up at the top of the rock. So to me, it was just like another one of them, like in touch with the simulated reality, multiple universe, like things like what was it, synchronicities and like deja vu and what's the word I'm looking for? Coincidences. They just don't happen mathematically if you fucking try to calculate, these things that the amount of things, especially it happens to me, that I find like coincidences is just like not mathematically possible in the realm of how we understand things. So to me, I was like, damn, twice. I had gone to Quincy Corey's 3 times because I went with the wife and kids and we did like a sunset shoot there to scout it out. And then I went again with Libsy, we shot, and then I went again with Libsy. So 2 out of the 3 times and we were there, and it was all at different times too that we were there. It wasn't the same. We saw a fucking helicopter fly over top. Granted, and I hadn't seen. I ain't seen another fucking helicopter while my whole week down here in Massachusetts, like flying around. So it was wild that I would see it up there at Quincy Corey and close. The first time it was way closer, though. If you in the video, like the footage before, that helicopter was mad close to us. It flew right over the rocks, actually, where we wrapped the first time. The footage he lost, the first time was right up there after we were filming. We were still standing there, and the helicopter was so close you could like read the numbers on the side of it and shit. I was like, wow, it was a great shot. So my second shot wasn't as good, but I mean, I was just happy as fuck to even get it shot, for them for the line that I had. I was like, oh no, this is great. So yeah, making music videos is fun, by the way, which I'm doing a lot more of. I got JFX now, JFX, dope ass motherfucking MC. I'm doing a video for him coming up. I got another one coming up for MoFlo too, and I'm actually shooting one for Hero at the end of this.
Another MoFlo one?
Yeah, another MoFlo video, dude. I don't know.
The one that you did for him and Ocho was like awesome. I was joking around with him at that thing that I would be like the Seb Squatch, because like I had been awake for 2 days, and he was like, yo, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't even know, dude. I'm just here because I'm here. So, like, what do I do? I'm just going to chill in the background. So I'm the Seb Squatch in that video.
Yeah, it worked out good. Like, yeah. I was like, he was like, yo, Seb's supposed to come down here, bro, and he's not here yet. And we were, like, almost done shooting. And I'm like, so what are we going to do? And he's like, let's just wait in the shade. Because it was, like, 90-something degrees that day.
Yeah.
And so we're like, fuck it. We're waiting in the shade and shit. I'm gonna go fucking smoke one of these pre-rolls and shit. And then this just so happened you like rolled up like right then. It was perfect timing because we wanted to shoot the fountain and there was no water in it. They had just filled it back up. They cleaned it out or they did something to it. So it was perfect timing actually that it worked out that way too. Because like I said, synchronicities and shit like
coincidences.
that. Yeah, synchronicities, they happen, which is strange when you're thinking about everything.
I'm almost never on time for anything. So it's like... But with that specifically, I didn't even know like if he needed anything from me or if he was just trying to like chill. So I'm like, I'm waking up. I'll be around. Oh, and by waking up, I mean I was awake from the night before. So I'm like, I'm drinking 32 ounces of coffee, and then I'll get back to you. But I'm glad that I came down because like, even though I was like, whoa, what the hell? It was still like good to see y'all. You know what I mean? I was just like, what do I even do right now? But you got some dope shots even after, like with the fountain coming on top of, you know what I mean? Like,
I knew that was going to go down. I told him, let me go get my fucking action cam and you're going to do this. He's like, put it in the water? I'm like, yeah, bro, in the water. He's like,
it's going to look sick. And it did.
Yeah, I said it's gonna be dope. Don't worry about it. Just put it in the fucking water and I'll use it. Boom, right at the end. That was perfect. And you know how I cut the footage all together in there, just kind of like blended along. You weren't there first, but then when we got to that fountain scene, you know what I mean? There you were. And I thought it was dope though, like how in the garden part where he had his girlfriend standing in the back with the sign. I love that. We were like stand back there and just don't move. And just stay there with the back off sign. It was like, they'll do their parts. And she's like, okay. She definitely didn't want to be in the video that day, but she was in there. He was like, you're going to be in the video. And she's like, meh. And he's just like, you're in it. And she's like, okay.
See, he was trying to get my fiance to be in it too. And my fiance was like, I got to go to Wendy's. And that threw him all off. He was like, damn, we only have one girl in this video. And it's like, yeah, well, it's like that, I guess. You know?
He wanted like somebody to like fight with her or some shit too, and I'm like, that's probably not gonna happen. I'm not doing it. Like he's Ocho ain't doing it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
we getting the cops called on us for some fake shit.
Right.
I'm like, just have her hold the sign and be like you're rapping to her, and so it worked out. It worked out fine. I think it came out artistically good because she's kind of there in some of the scenes, like you know what I mean. Like I said, that first one, the bridge or whatever, and then the garden scene when she's there in there with the back off sign. So I mean. That is what it is. I like that video. I don't like how fucking hot it was that day. My camera like wasn't like that. I got my little Pocket 2 that I was using that day was fucking hot as it's ever been. I was like, damn, this thing's about to melt right now.
Probably drains the shit out of the battery too.
Yeah, it did. And then once I put my battery pack on it and it was charging while I was using it, you know, it was even hotter. I had the cord hooked up to it. And I had the cord down into my pocket, into my battery pack, you know what I mean? So it was on the thing, but it was charging and it was getting real hot at that point. That's when it shut off. It was right before you got there. It had shut off after that garden scene where they were standing around the other little fountain and rapping on each side with her in the middle and the back. Right after that, it was just too hot. I was right in the sun the whole time. And I was like, it shut down. I was like, we got to get in the shade. And we did. And I set it down in the grass. And it was like 15 minutes, I think. And you got there, and he's like, yeah, he's about here. And we started walking over, and that's when I got it to turn back on again. So like I said, everything worked out. That's like a lot of
things. And I was like, hold on, I got to roll a blunt before I do anything. Because at that point in time, that's standard procedure. I'm like, hold on. Right. Let me take 15 minutes, even though I already took 45 minutes to get here.
I'm already an hour late. I got 15 more to go. Yeah. No, but so what's up with like your favorite non-musical shit? Like when you're not making music or anything, doing anything like beat making or rapping. Like what are some things you like to do? Like to get out and do other shit?
Lately, I haven't had like. I mean, I write a lot aside from like rapping. You know, like I wanted to release a novel at some point in time, but like. My style is very like shorter like pieces, so I don't know, like I never really know like if I should compile a bunch of small stories or if I should find ways to like weave them.
You should
make a bigger one.
Yeah, you should do small little short stories. You know, we had first guest on this fucking podcast was this dude Nomar Slevik, right? Second guest. Yeah, fucking Hero was the first guest. So yeah, first real guest, I'll say, was Nomar Slevik. And no, he is an author, but also a rapper, or was mostly a rapper back in the day, producer, whatever, up there in Portland. And he does paranormal related like short stories and puts these books together, and then he does little movies too. Like he did a full length, I think, documentaries, and then he's doing like some other like that. So you definitely should. Like he said, it's a huge market, and what he does too, something else on the side, is he does a little podcast thing where he'll read his short stories, and like he'll have creepy background music and shit because it's always like creepy stories, and he'll tell it like with like creepy voice and you know, pretty cool actually, man, and he's got some pretty good ones. Actually, he just put something out, I think, not even too long ago that had a bunch of new short stories in it. So I say fucking go for it. It's really easy today to get something like that published too. Like you can do the ebooks, and then you can do like regular in print shit too. Plenty of avenues to get it done. I say fuck it. You should do it while you're fucking still here. Put the content out. That's what I say.
That was the plan, and I mean, I've looked into, like you were saying, like ways to buy them online, but like my first thought is to always try to do it the most DIY version, like first. So like, I'm like ready to actually going back to Idea. I have one of Idea's poetry books, and it's like some of it is literally just like pictures of his like poetry and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's whatever they could piece together. But I would want to do something a little bit more, you know, like typeface or whatever, and then I could staple them myself or even bind them myself. You know what I mean? Like it's just getting down to, because I feel very adamantly, this is with rap and with my regular writing, I feel very adamantly about writing in like a physical space, like in a notebook, with like, I use a specific pen because I'm a nerd like that, but it's like,
it's got to feel a certain way.
for me, it's hard to like want to sit down and then take all that stuff that I've written and like type it out
Yeah.
so that I can get it printed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So then do it like handwritten style. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the way you could do it. Fucking handwrite, just exactly your shit. Photocopies of that or whatever you want to call it. So it looks authentic and people are reading it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you got to like rewrite it in like a style, like stylized way. You know what I'm saying? Like rewrite it in like a kind of stylized way. That'd be a cool way to do it.
Yeah. It adds to the it adds to the story too.
Or just not rewrite it, you know what I'm saying? But go into it knowing you're going to stylize it because it's going to be in the shit, and then you can make like little designs if that's what you're into. I just think when I've seen a couple of books like that where it was like done by somebody, and there was little doodles on the corners and weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. I think books that were made to be, they weren't real, but they were made to look like they were a diary or some shit like that. I think that could be a pretty cool concept. But yeah, also doing like. Little fucking short films. If you got some fucking great little short stories, bro, you fucking send them my way because I'm looking for ideas and shit to do like the little short films and shit like that so I can get some short films under my belt.
I would love to. And I actually I was talking with somebody the other day about actually like somebody in Portland about how they want to start doing like digital comic books and something that like. And I think that he should do them in like a physical space, but his whole thing is that he just does the art and the illustrations. So he's like looking for writers and stuff. And I'm like, I'm definitely like, I don't read a lot of comic books, but like to my understanding, it would be like a graphic novel type deal. And that's more my speed. I'm like, I feel like I would really, I don't know how to write for a comic book, but I feel like that's something that I would really like to do and like test myself with. And as well, I've always liked to do short like films and stuff. On my YouTube, I have a bunch of privated short films from when I was like mad young that are just like kind of strange and funny, mostly improvised stuff. But yeah.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Fucking respect to that. I have like a few visions, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got a few spots down in New Bedford I had picked out when I was down there that I'm like, yo, I have to shoot. I have these little ideas because I'm not like big on like writing a fucking script or like I have ideas in my fucking head and I'm good at taking those ideas and telling somebody else, you know? So like my whole thing was it was going to be kind of improvised in a way where I would just kind of set each scene with how I, you know what I'm saying, what it would be like and then let each actor be regular and normal and not be really acting in a way, you know what I mean? So like Libsy, more natural. Yeah. So Libsy, just be yourself, right? And don't worry about what you're saying, like the words you're saying, be yourself and say how you would say it. But this is how I kind of want the scene to go. You're going to come out of here. You're going to be pissed. You're going to get on your phone. You're going to talk to so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. That's it. So like, that's kind of how I was doing. But my ideas are like so convoluted and like mixed together. Like I want to have a little short film where we show the struggle of like local hip hop artists, right? And it would just basically follow Libsy, wakes up in the morning. It's like no talking really for most of it. You know what I mean? Just a lot of action. Wakes up in the morning. I got the camera. It's right on him. He makes breakfast or he goes to gets coffee, whatever you do in the morning, him naturally follow him and then go like to the Outback, show a little bit in work, then cut to the Outback, then like cut to going home and getting ready for the show, the struggles. That's just like kind of put something together like that. But the hardest part for me was getting my ideas from my head like down on how to be able to present it over to somebody else without me just having to sit here and explain to them the whole fucking thing. So I already did that with Libsy, so I kind of got him on board to do it. But now I got to get some other people to fill some spots in the movie, and I've got to fucking relay the message to them so it begins to be a fucking issue. And not only that, but there's other things I want to do bigger than that too, and I need either to get on myself or find someone who's good at actually putting some sort of screenplay or script or whatever you want to call it together to make my ideas a little easier for people who are actors to read because they're used to kind of doing lines and shit. But I'm saying for the improv with people who aren't really actors, I like my little thing. But I think if we do something bigger, which is what I want to do, kind of like if you ever seen Dead Presidents, you've seen Dead Presidents with Chris Tucker and back in the day, they go and rob the banks and shit like that. Who was in that? Lawrence Tate. That's
Lawrence
right.
Tate.
Yeah, that's right. He is in that. Dead Presidents. If you watch that movie, just how it is shot, and another good one is like Training Day. How that one was shot. I'm talking about like when I talk about how it's shot, like angles of the camera, color filters. Those are like very like bluish, grayish lighting and filters to give it that certain look. That's how I envision a lot of the shit I want to do in that kind of light. So like, and I like a lot of Tarantino movies. I don't like how the thing Tarantino loves to do is like the sounds. He really goes crazy with sounds, like makes him off the wall, like Breaking Bones would be like a fucking, or like punches like, shit like that. I'm not really into that, but as far as his like the zooms he does and the things he does like in a scene and shit like that, I like that. And the character kind of creation that he brings, I really like that. So you mix that with like Antoine Fuqua and like some Tarantino and shit. That's the kind of shit that I want to do. And I really want to do one about like the Boston scene in a way and include a bunch of rappers from the Boston scene who are current and include not only the rappers, but like some of their actual music in the movie, but make it like a scripted movie and not like it's like them, but it's like a written part about them. And they're going to like play that part out. And it will be a way for, to make a film, but it'll also be a way for those people to get exposure and have their music there in the film. And then on the soundtrack that we do through Barsoverbars, which would be fucking sick. Obviously have a bunch of fucking songs on this soundtrack too. And so, yeah, that's kind of my idea eventually. And obviously with you have plenty of experience with that shit. So if you're down, once we start thinking about it, it's not going to be like tomorrow, you know what I mean? But maybe in the springtime, we'll be trying to shoot springtime, summertime, try to get something done maybe next year. So if you're around, can be around, I'd love to have you involved in some way.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, dude.
But we got to get these little short ones done first. So that's step number one. I'm trying to get like 100 music videos done before the end of 2022. That's the goal. And
that's pretty honorable. I mean, that's a ton of music videos, but you can easily do it. I mean, it's only 100 days of shooting.
I got 10 so far. 10. Already got 10. But I'll have like when I go home, I'll be like 12, 13, and that's in just like a couple months, 3 months really. But the other couple came from late 2019 when I first started before COVID hit and shit. So I mean, counting them all together though, I mean that's pretty good in my eyes. I just need to find more people to buy into it. But I think that now that JFX and CXP and Sean Mikes, all these people express interest in doing music videos since I was at the shows and shooting and shit. So shout out to them. Probably going to work with them and that'll be sick. And then I got a video with Kemet coming up in fucking August. So, I mean, the videos will come and that's where I am the hands-on guy. So I could sit here and watch YouTube videos and learn like that on a thing, but really got to get out there and actually handle the camera and do the moves and practice it to make it fucking work,
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't just fucking happen. But yeah,
I kind of like the more improvised, like off the wall style in general, though. Like,
yeah, I love that too. Like, I don't care. Like when we do a music video, I don't need to know like ahead of time. If you want to let me know, that's cool. But if they're just like I pick a location like with MoFlo, it was the same thing. I was like, he's like, where should we do it? I'm like, I don't know. I looked on Google Maps. I'm like, look, this park's got a view of the bridge in the back, and there's a park. You can probably get some shots in there. He's like, all right, cool. We got there, and I'm just like, how are we gonna do it? And I looked around, and we found all the spots by just doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Like freestyle.
Yeah, exactly. Freestyle. Where are we gonna shoot it? And then like you got to deal with people and shit. I like it. I was like telling Hero like, yo, we could shoot a fucking video on the subway while that shit's actually going on. Like, get on the subway and walk from one end, and I'll just go right through the whole thing, or just sit and rap too. That's another shot you could get on the moving subway. That was something I thought was super cool. And I think I can't remember if I've ever seen anyone like shoot a video single shot straight through the subway while you do the whole fucking song walking and there's actual people.
Be pretty sick.
Like, from one stop to another stop, and you're dealing with actual people. And so that's a cool thing that I like. You know, it gives you that X factor. You don't know what's going to happen. Like, are they going to be like, "Where's your permit?" Are they going to fucking call the cops? What are they going to do? That's excitement for me.
Yeah.
That's my 37-year-old Family Guy fucking excitement. Oh, permits? Fuck permits. Call the cops. Like, I'm just filming, motherfucker. Like, seriously, say something. That's what I'm saying. I want that. Like, I like that. Maybe that gives me that little, thing. I'm like, ooh, is something gonna happen today?
Yeah.
Like when we went to shoot for the Welcome to Hell, we showed up to the place from Graveyard Shift. It was the Dam, and it's an apartment building now. We pulled up in there, like, and it said private property, and we're like, fuck that shit. We're gonna do what we want. Me and Hero get out. We fucking start running over this place. Like, we weren't even there for 2 minutes. Turn the fucking song. He's about to start shooting, walking across this concrete with the river in the background on this concrete thing. Guy comes out. He's like, "What are you guys doing here?" I'm like, shooting a video, dude. He's like, "It's private property," and I'm like, "Well, we'll be out of here in like 2 minutes. Just leave us alone." He's like, "I'm gonna call." He's like, "I'm gonna call the fucking cops." And I was like, "Dude, do you own this place?" And he's like, "No, but I live here." And I'm like,
gone by the time
I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Cool, so we're leaving." And he's like, "Yeah, that's what I fucking thought, dude." And I had my kids with me, dude. And I'm like, I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" And my youngest kid was like, "What's his problem?" And I said, "Oh, don't worry. He's just a male Karen." And he's like, "I am not." And I was like, "Dude, you're being one. Just shut the fuck up, dude." And Hero's like laughing his ass off, dude. And I'm like, "Dude, you're tough right now on private property." And I was like, "Just keep running your fucking mouth, right?" And then there was a lady who was out there the whole time, this little old black lady. She was standing out by the road, but she was on her phone. She saw us pull in. I think she lived there. She must have. She saw us pull in, get the camera, go out, walk. She never said a fucking word to us, right? And as we're leaving and walking out, and that guy's bitching at us, and he was smoking a cigarette, of course, we look over there. I glanced over, and she looked it up, and she smiled and waved at us, right? And we're like, hey, what's up? And then as we're leaving, like, we left, and I was like, fuck you, and then we go not even that far, like across the street to the graveyard to shoot the other scene. When we left the graveyard, the guy was still out there, and I think there was a member of management. He was out there talking to them, and the old lady was still out there. And we go driving by the place, and she starts waving at us and smiling, and I saw the guy with us just laying on the horn, beep, 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 just like this. Hey, fuck you, buddy. And he's just like, that's them. Like, he's like pointing at us, and I'm just like, hey, fuck you. So, like, that's my excitement, Like, that's like, that got me all riled up. And I'm like, yes, now we got the footage we need. Because, like, it put us in a whole nother lot. Adrenaline was pumping. Right. We went to the top of this hill at the cemetery. It was like, we get to the top of the hill. It's like, let's run it. And I'm like, yeah,
fuck that guy.
Yeah, we're like, fuck him. We're going to get the footage here. Like, it was just like, it really set the vibe for the whole video, because that location was like the second one we went to. So, like, the first one we did, like, was at that little water tower thing, Thomas Standpipe or whatever, which was in Pet Cemetery. And yeah, it was kind of cool. We got into the vibe there, flew the drone a little bit. When we got to that guy, it really set it off. We got to the cemetery, we went downtown, we got shots down there, went to Paul Bunyan, the statue at Cross Insurance after that guy, and it was just a whole nother vibe, I'm telling you. And then fucking Boston was the same thing. There was like a wedding party. Yeah, because you ain't seen fucking Boston ain't dropped yet, but it's coming out July 31st. But when we shot it, we were at Fenway, and we were walking around Fenway getting different shots, and there was a wedding over there. And they were just to the side of us, and we were shooting in a certain spot, and we had my big Bluetooth speaker and just set it down. And I'm like, let's run it. They were taking photos with like a professional photographer and shit. And me and my buddy, or former buddy now at this point, can't hold the camera. I was holding a different camera. Just boom, right in it. Fucking Boston. We're just like, hey, and fucking we're behind the thing. I'm like vibing to it, and Hero's like getting all ready. He's like doing, Hero does this thing. Yeah, fucking Boston, right? And it's just like he goes right into it, and everybody who was in the wedding party just immediately turns to watch the whole time. And I'm like, free show right here. Just check it out, free show. I was like, Hero the MC.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, tell your friends. Free show. And no, so that was another thing, that's the kind of thing that kind of, it can be good or bad. I'm just saying that kind of like attention that sometimes people will be filming in public and they don't want that attention on them. Yep. I'm like, whatever. Like, let's have people fucking look at it. Like, let's think of it as you're giving a free show to people. We were on that fucking bridge that goes under the Zakum too, and people were going by on their bicycles, and it was people going by on bicycles. I remember one kid is in the basket of the bicycle, and he's walking across this bridge rapping, and as the kid goes by in the bicycle, you see the kid do the rubberneck at Hero the whole time is in the basket, and I'm like, that's what you do this for, because everybody's like fucking, out seeing you in public. It's almost like as if you are giving a free show to everybody. Yep. And that's a great way. Hero was like, I love that mentality. Great way to look at it. Like I'm giving free shows and people are going to enjoy it. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, and every once in a while you might encounter a dick, but keep the
cameras
rolling.
Yeah, just keep the cameras rolling and do what you got to do. Like, I'm not advocating go out and try to get arrested, but don't let people push you around either. We were on private property, so we left. We weren't going to, fuck around. We thought if I saw it was fenced off, I said, hey, if we could get it quick enough, we'll get it. If we can't, well, whatever, Yep. But I'm not saying go out and get arrested, but hey, fuck with people if they're going to fuck with you, because, like, YOLO. Yeah, so look, I ask everybody. I already know your answer is going to be to this, but I always ask anybody who comes on the show: live shows, rapping over backing vocals, or no?
Oh, absolutely not. But I'm also not gonna hate on anybody really. Like,
no,
people are doing their thing, and I can respect that. But for myself, as like a rapping moral, absolutely not. Because I think about it like if it was back in like '89 and we were out at the park somewhere, and a dude was like looping disco, like a DJ was looping disco records, I wouldn't be rapping over vocals. I would be trying to spit it from the heart.
Yeah.
And also things like, I don't know if you've seen like the Good Life documentary about like LA Cool and Abstract Rude and all those dudes, and like, that, I don't know. It's like being original and replicating it like live. And my shit changes live too. Like some people are like, what if I mess up on my lyrics? And it's like, well, you got to learn how to like, kind of like roll with that. Like,
right.
And learn how to flex that muscle instead of like, drinking a bottle of Henny during the part that you don't know.
Yeah.
Which I've seen recently. But like I said, no hate to anybody, but it's like, I'd rather stumble a little bit and like catch myself or freestyle out of something than like, like have to rely on like my old tracks. I used to have like backup, like for my hooks and stuff and like little embellishments, but I don't have that.
Which, by the way, is not what I'm talking about. If you're doing that, right, that's still considered fine. And all of it's considered fine. I'm just saying personal preference with this question. You know what I'm saying? So I like to get everybody's personal preference when they come on. You don't have to necessarily hate on it. There are times where I think that people come and rap over their full songs. I mean, and don't actually rap themselves, like in an attempt to actually do every word. They just like half-heartedly do shit. I'm not with that. You know what I mean? You got to come and bring the performances. The performance, I mean, anyone can listen to that song, go on Spotify or wherever it's released at, and hear it as it is, like you're playing it there. But like you said, every live show has its intricacies and differences, and that's what the people really are paying for. Like, you don't go and watch fucking Led Zeppelin perform and play. They just play the songs off their CD and fucking mouth the words along with it. That's not what you're there for.
It's like different every night.
Yeah, it should be different because especially in the local scene, you got a lot of followers who will go to one place and watch you and then be there the next night and watch you. And if they just saw you the night before, they don't want to see exactly the same thing again. That gets old. And that kind of, I think, fucks with your own revenue in a way. It's taken away from your own shit if you become too repetitive. And it doesn't matter if you switch your songs up or if you just become that person who's just, I could just hear this on Spotify on my fucking phone at home while I'm fucking killing a pizza, watching a game, like, whatever. It's not going to draw them out. You got to have that unique kind of performance. And don't get me wrong, I watched some dope people this weekend or whatever, like JFX and CXP or whatever, who do a little bit of rapping over the vocals. But to be honest, they're both at a point where I don't even feel like they have to do that. So I'm sure eventually they'll jump off the boat, but like you gotta get to a certain point before you do that. Some people's comfort zones are different, you know. So
Yeah.
some people are definitely not comfortable, or sometimes the recording process can put a hindrance on that. If people do a lot of punching in and they're not able to actually control their breath a lot,
Right.
that can make a big difference too. You gotta the shit you record, you gotta think in terms of, am I gonna be able to perform this right? Because sometimes you can't. And if it's one of those songs where you've punched in a lot, I don't typically do that. I like to just one shot everything. And it's been a long time since I punched anything in, even for someone else. But if you do have to do that, just don't. That can't be a show song.
Right.
You might just pass that for a show song, you know. But for me, yeah, it's got to be unique every time, because after a couple of times seeing the same shit, I'm not paying to see that shit anymore. I want to see something fresh every time. And like you said, even if it's a freestyle out of something, whatever, do it.
I came down here and I played 4 shows like in 2 weeks, and I played a different set every single one of those shows because I was like, I do not want to. I want to be like, yo, what's up, everybody? I'm here, but I also don't want to be like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, oh, this guy just played the same 3 songs. You know what I mean? Like, want to give people something a little bit different every single like time. When I did my tour with Carnage, pretty much every night was different, but that was because like Carnage, he beatboxes his own beats and like raps, and he can literally go for like hours and hours if like, you know what I mean? Like, he's literally a beast in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And like so some nights, because I was like the showrunner for that tour, so some nights I'm playing 3 songs, some nights I'm playing 5 songs, some nights I'm just the guy who's like, yo, this is Carnage and 8BZA, you know what I mean? Like, check it out. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, you gotta adapt. And I like hosting shows and stuff as well as playing them too.
right. Being like an MC at a show and shit, kind of like keeping it moving. Yeah, that's fun. That's always fun. Yeah, but so like, what do you got new that's coming out? We can let people know before we get out of here what you got new. Anything coming out soon that you want to let people know about?
Yeah, well, so I have an album. I just mentioned 8BZA. I have an album called Buck 75 that'll be coming out. I don't have an official release date for it. I have one last feature out for it, basically. Like, I have all the songs completed. I'm just waiting on one more feature back. And
From Obese to Prophet?
no, dude, like, here's the thing. Like, this album, what I really tried to do was there's like, I tried to reach out to people who were from like you know, like who were like definitely like a step above like above me, and like all those things, and like, and what, sorry, that might make it sound like I'm being like, oh, Obese Prophet's not a step above me. That's not what I mean. I mean, like, I tried to like, 8BZA is like the man, and he's worked with like some really, really big names, and like, I really want to like do him justice, and I want this project to be something that's like, when it comes out, I want people to be like, how did this random dude from wherever he's from put this out? You know what I mean? Like, and I think once, like I said, I have one feature left that I'm waiting to come back in, and then I can send it out for mixing and mastering, and I have all the artwork and everything ready for it too. So that'll be coming out this year. And then I also have, like, I'm going to be doing like a single and probably like a 3 or 4 song thing before the end of the year. Like, that's usually, I did last year in October, I did a full length. Now I'm going to do an EP. Then I'm going to put out the full length. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of, that's the way that I like operate.
No doubt, no doubt. So, you want to shout out your socials and shit one last time so people can find you, where they can find you at?
7QRTRS on every single thing. It's SEV. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Holy shit. I'm lit. I had to think about that for a second. sevenQRTRS. That's all you got to know. You look that up on anything, Spotify, YouTube, like SoundCloud, even though I don't upload onto that really anymore. Like, my Facebook, my personal Facebook, my whatever, my Bandcamp, where you can buy merch and stuff like that. Like
Yes.
all of that is under 7/4, and that's
Oh, yeah.
basically all you need to know.
So go check him out. Get some merch. He's got some dope merch. That's all like designed. But who's that? Most of that merch designed by?
I actually designed all of that.
Yeah.
Whoa, all right.
Yeah, and it's super dope too. So go check it out. Also, there's one more thing I think from YouTube I want to play before we get out of here too. So we'll kind of end with that. So, any last shout outs, plugs you want to give before we play this and then get out of here?
I mean, I would like thank you to you guys for having me onto the show. Thank you for Barsoverbars. I want to shout out Biza. I want to shout out my fiance Destiny. I want to shout out MoFlo. And shout out DJ Myth and I9. And basically, I love all y'all. And this song is called Elephant Man. And that's the last song we'll listen to. Biza produced this. It'll be on the album.
Okay, here, click on that, then we'll share it. I think you might have to like mute it right off. I mean, pause it right off. But then we can share it.
This is the checkers game
there's
with
an ad.
grandson.
Of course, there's a fucking ad.
Yeah.
Dude, I got to get paid somehow.
Gotta get paid. All right.
All right, get this out of the way.
Yep. Make sure share audio's click too. There we go. And then, yep, you can full screen it. You got it. I didn't know about that full screen thing until like way into doing this too. Just go back over there. Make sure it's on the screen by click it over.
There it is.
Here we go. All right.
All right, we're
then
ready to rock.
We're ready to rock. Let's go.
Elephant Man.
Peace.
Fractal matter, spark zombie in the astral matter. Plastic shatter that rattles from an elastic background. Ain't some of the times have gone sour. Aches with the malevolent smiles around about actions. Secrets stuck in the loop. Afraid to open the book. No kids for 100 hooks. No patience to look to the new. Obeying the common urgency to become something. You lose a part of yourself and your sanity's return undone. Their attention span is jelly belly. Couple skeletons hanging at the Xanax party, but I'm relevant. Not much of a man, but a little more elephant. Screaming, I am not a monster as I open toxic from the cellophane. I wheeze a cough, I'm feeling deader by the second man. A chimera probably spawned from the carcinogens. 88 ways to lose your life like some piano keys, but I sustain myself like when cannibals bleed. Will I ever see you again? Only as the incubus. Words that take your breath while ultra-less. The record fan. We the duo from every nightmare that you can recognize. Supersonic echolocation integral to the dialect. Kids falling like radiated ghouls on some ketamine. I've grown up with some fools that do not better me. I never played a win, but grabbed the board anyway. 175 in the microphone to take my pain away. Intrinsically lost, above average at all costs. Sardonic and frost. Lock myself away in so guitar. Bar for bar, still making war zones out of these stanzas. Take to these rappers like my grandmother took to cancer. False prophet made a hollow godless, keep the volume on. Bomb shelter mentality, isolating cavity, carving talented artists with punchlines like Jim Jones. I fall back with kinfolk, have lives like they are pinholes.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. Ooh. All right, so that's the episode. Thanks for joining us, 7/4, man, and make sure you go check him out on all the socials and streaming places. And yeah, shout out to Bars and all the sponsors for making it happen. We'll see you again next week.
Peace.
Peace.